ocean of Oriental pearl. Hi friends, I'm Arpita Karva, and in this audio lecture I'm going to talk about early Indian English writing. Before we talk about the advent of English in India, I would like to quote a line from Dr. Faustus, which is a play written by Christopher Marlowe. The line is, "I'll have them fly to India for gold. I'll have them fly to India for gold, ransack the ocean of Oriental pearl." Ransack, R-A-N-S-A-C-K, ransack the ocean of Oriental pearl. This is a line from Dr. Faustus, written by Christopher Marlowe, and the lines are spoken by the central character, Dr. Faustus. Now, this play was written almost in the same year as the East India Company launched its trading adventures in India. And as you can see that Marlowe's word here symbolize the Elizabethan spirit of adventure and of course their ambition for power. As the words are, "I'll have them fly to India for gold." Okay, so gold, that means power and money, ambition for power and money. And ran the ocean of Oriental pearl, which shows the Elizabethan spirit of adventure. Now, as we all know that the English, that means the Britishers, they came to India primarily as traders. And East India Company chartered on 31st December 1600. Finally, they started their trading centers in India. But slowly, the trading organization grew into a ruling power. Now, as a ruler, the company thought that it's their obligation to civilize the nation. And how to civilization, which they are going to rule in the coming years, the best way to do so is to educate them. Civilize करने का सबसे अच्छा तरीका है education से. Sophisticate बना पाएंगे हम अगर उन्हें हम educate करते हैं. So that was the time when we have the beginning of English education in India. Because now when the East India Company is thinking of ruling India, they thought of civilizing the native people. So from here we start our journey towards the early Indian English writing, and for your convenience I've divided this particular time period of when English started in India. I've divided this particular time period in 6 parts. So the first part is from 1600 to 1700. That means 17th century. As for that, English language reached India in 1600s when we have East India Company coming to India. Now, when East India Company started trading in India, they saw that the people in India, they are savage. Okay, according to Britishers, we all were savage. Okay, we were not civilized enough, and therefore they thought that let's educate them. Now, when this education thing started, there were 2 kinds of people. One were Anglicist and the others were Orientalist. Now, who are Anglicist and who are Orientalist? Anglicists are Britishers who supported English language and believed that we should educate Indians in English language. They believe that Indian languages and people are subordinate, they are not at all good, and therefore in order to civilize Indians we need to use English language. These were Anglicists. 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 The other sect of people are Orientalists. These were Britishers who admired Oriental culture. What is Oriental culture? Oriental culture is the culture of East. So we have Western culture, the culture of Europe and America, and on the other hand we have Asian countries following the Eastern culture, that is the Oriental culture. Now, all these Orientalists, they admired the Oriental culture and they did not like the idea of introducing Western culture to India. Among these Orientalists were Sir William Jones, Jones, who was an officer of British Army and he was fascinated towards Indian past. He established the Royal Asiatic Society of Bengal in 1784 in order to promote the Indian culture. Okay, and on the other hand, we have Thomas Munro, another officer who was extremely impressed by Indian culture. These people, the Orientalists, they were known as Brahmanized Britons. Britons mean British people, Brahmanized because they were fascinated towards the Indian culture. So from Indian culture, they have taken the term Brahmanized. So they were called Brahmanized Britons or Orientals. So now when the English education was on the verge of getting implemented, and there were two kinds of people: the one who supported English language and English education, who were known as Anglicists, and the others who opposed it and who believed in Orient culture, and they were called Orientalists. So this debate was going on in the first phase, that is from 1600 to 1700. Now comes the second phase, that is from 1700 to 1800. Now finally, Britishers decided that they are going to educate Indians, because they were thinking that now they are going to rule it, and it's always better to rule educated people rather than ruling savage people. So they decided that they are going to invest 1 lakh rupees per year for British education, for imparting education in India. Now 1 lakh rupees looks like a small amount today, but during 1700s it was a huge amount. It was like 50 crores of today's economy equals to 1 lakh rupees of that time's economy. So they decided that they are going to invest 1 lakh rupees in order to educate Indians. Now in order to educate, they not only opened schools, private schools, but they also opened printing press. So printing press was set up in different parts of the country along with grammar, dictionaries and translation. Printing press also gave rise to the first newspaper in India. And the first newspaper in India was Hickey's Bengal Gazette. Hickey's, H-I-C-K-Y apostrophe S, Hickey's Bengal, B-E-N-G-A-L, Gazette, G-A-Z-E-T-T-E. G-A-Z-E-T-T-E, Bengal Gazette. So printing set up, private schools were set up, and then colleges were also set up. So the first college was set up in Kudalore near Chennai. Kudalore, C-U-D-D-A-L-O-R-E, Kudalore near Chennai, set up in 1770s. Then second was set up in Mumbai in 1718. The third was set up in Kolkata in 1720, and the most important one, that is the Hindu College, or today it is known as the Presidency College, was set up in 1855. So you can see how the Britishers were eager to impart English education. For that they did three things. Number one, they set up printing press, they set up schools, and number three, they set up colleges. Apart from that, missionaries came to India during this time. Missionaries means who form a religious association, and they go to countries in order to convert the people of those countries into their own religion. So missionaries came to India, they spread the word of Christ, and they wanted to convert Indians into Christians. So they wanted Indians to be converted to Christianity, and these missionaries set up a lot of schools in early 1800s, which take us to the third part of the lecture. The first part was from 1600 to 1700s, when there was a debate going between Anglicist and Orientalist. Then the second part was from 1700 to 1800, when printing press, schools and colleges were started, and the third part is from 1800s to 1850. And during this part we find that missionaries came to India and they wanted to convert into Christianity, and a lot of schools were opened by these missionaries. So for example, we have Xavier's College, Xavier schools opened all across India. These schools can be taken as the example of missionaries, because Christian missionaries are funding these schools. Okay, they are non-profit making schools. Christian missionaries are funding these schools, and the main aim of these schools is to impart education and also to tell people about Christianity, because a student who is studying in this school for a period of as long as 12 years, he is going to take up a lot of Christian values in this period of 12 years, and that is how he'll have this thinking that might be he'll convert into Christianity towards the end of his schooling career. So now we come on to the third phase. Now in third phase, first of all, I would like to tell you that missionaries were set up. The second important thing that happened during 1800 to 1850 was Lord Macaulay. We have already heard about Macaulay in the British literature. So when I was talking about the great writers of Victorian period, I did talk about Thomas Macaulay. Thomas Babington Macaulay is known as the father of English education. And he was there as a part of the House of Commons in British. Now, when he was there in Britain as an officer in the House of Commons, he said that to trade with civilized men is infinitely more profitable than to govern savages. To trade with civilized men is infinitely more profitable than to govern savages. So basically, he emphasized on the idea that if we want to control India, if we want to rule India, we need to civilize people, because जो savages होते हैं, जो illiterate लोग होते हैं, वो बहुत जल्दी किसी भी बात से influence होके riot कर देते हैं. For example, if you've seen the movie Newton में राजकुमार हिरानी को एक officer दिखाया जाता है जो वोटिंग का काम करता है. नाउ व्हेन ही गोज टू विलेज, वहां पे वो देखता है कि लोग इतने इलिटरेट है कि उनको कोई भी इंसान बोलता है कि आप इस चिन्ह पे निशान लगाना और हम आपको खाना देंगे, ये सोच के वो इंसान वोट डाल देता है. ठीक है. और ऐसे ही लोग होते हैं जो छोटी छोटी बात पे बगल कर देते हैं, बिकॉज उनमें दिमाग नहीं है, वो इलिटरेट है. सो मकाउले का भी यही कहना था दैट इफ वी आर रूलिंग सैवेजेस, इफ वी आर रूलिंग इलिटरेट पीपल, देन दे आर गोइंग टू revolt against us. But then we need to rule civilized people because they will appreciate our efforts. Now, this particular speech that he gave, he documented this, and this is known as Minute on English Education. Macaulay has written it, Minute on English Education. And after this Minute on English Education, the process of teaching began in India in a full-fledged manner. So basically, Macaulay was saying that it is both necessary and possible to make the native of India good English scholars. And influenced by Macaulay, we had Lord William Bentinck, Bentinck, Lord William Bentinck, who said that the great object of British government ought to be the promotion of European literature and science among the natives of India. So Lord William Bentinck was an officer who served as the governor of English colonies, and that is the time when he was influenced by Macaulay, and he said that the great object of British government needs to be promotion of European literature and language. So this was happening during 1800s to 1850. Also during this time we find that the number of those educated in